No expense was spared for Brinity and Karnaya's final dates. However, Zeta, their date was allegedly in the swamp, according to Zach's brother. Hey there, it's Anonymous Tea, where we spill the tea anonymously. Hello, everyone. Hello, YouTubers. Hope you guys are all having an amazing day today, sending good vibes, sending positivity, sending blessings, and good energy to each and every single one of you. Thank you so much for tuning in. So, anything I say is alleged and in my very, very personal opinion. This is for entertainment purposes only. None of this is personal. The Copyright Act of 1976 is in the description box. Some meat and potatoes, some housekeeping items. So, today we are talking Love Island USA Season 8. Episode 34, and this is a reaction to the first look. Just a couple of housekeeping reminders, you know what I'm saying? I have my main YouTube, Anonymous Tea, if you guys want to follow trending topics and all the good stuff over there. Over here, I saw some suggestions on what shows you wanted me to cover after this. So I saw The Ultimatum, I saw Married at First Sight. I am covering Big Brother. I'm not sure whether or not I'm going to do live feeds, but episodes of Big Brother are Wednesdays, Thursdays, and Sundays. So there's a new episode tonight, but of course Love Island will be the priority. But let me know if there's any other shows you want me to do coverage or reactions and things like that too. And I'm also going to keep my eye out for these postseason interviews, because I have a feeling it is going to be messier than mess when it is all said and done. So we've got to get into the first look, because it is dropped, you guys, and not too much, right? Not too much on the first look. There was absolutely nothing in there. But what was interesting, so on the Love Island USA Instagram page, they've been doing posts about like a Love Island weekly, trying to make like a magazine type of post. And so they did a spread for the final 4 couples, right? And so they're putting like what their ship names is, although I think they have Melanie and Sincere ship name incorrect. And then they had for each of the couples how many dates that they've been on. And I believe that they are counting today as a date out of 6 weeks. So some couples had 1, others had 2, but the only other date that existed was back on episode 2 when the bombshells came in, when Kata and Gabe came in. No. Production, before we get into this, you guys dropped the ball on the lack of bombshells this season. Y'all dropped the ball on the lack of dates this season. You know what I'm saying? You should have had the Twitter challenge. You should have had the baby challenge. You should have had the Mr. and Mrs. challenge. Let's get rid of all of the food challenges. It's nasty. It's disgusting. We don't want to see it. Let's get rid of all the slime challenges. This is not Nickelodeon. If I want to see slime, I will go to Nickelodeon. You know what I'm saying? But this is not it for any of the things. We also did not have deep or meaningful conversations with these couples. I noticed when Carl met Anaya's family, he immediately knew the names of her sister, but he got the name of the sister that actually was there. It was the name of Anaya's other sister, Asia, but that was not the one that was present, I believe, right? And so that told me that Anaya and Carl had been having conversations about their family, their upbringing, the names of their family, and all of the things, and we have not seen it. Because unfortunately, y'all focus on the drama. In the show, there used to be a balance. I remember back in season 2 where Justine, she would talk about her culture, she would talk about her family and everything else. People would talk a lot about their relationship on outside of here. We saw that a little bit in the beginning with, Anaya. Again, Anaya and KC, how they would be long distance. We saw it with Anaya and Carl, and we saw it with Trinity and Bryce. But really, as far as everyone else, and also Melanie and Sincere, but that seems like, I don't even know what to make of that, right? I know for Neil, they're probably going to stay together to try to prove the haters wrong and try to get their families on board, but I feel like we missed a lot of depth. There was too much focus on triangles and drama and what can we do to split up these couples with all types of chaos and nonsense that really didn't involve the bombshells. So that was just my little spiel. You know what I'm saying? And we have to revamp After Sun. I still feel that a former Islander should be the host, like Justine or somebody else who's been through the 6 weeks in the villa, understands the ups and downs, understands the production side of it all, understands what these Islanders are directly going through. Because I feel like that can enhance some of these interviews. And we got to stop the coddling. We have to be fair for everyone. If you guys are going to call out Kenzie, y'all need to be calling out the men. Y'all can't be picking and choosing who y'all want to call out in these interviews, right? So I think that was kind of my spiel, right? Of some areas that need to be improved, right? So ultimately what has happened in the first look is that, you know, we pick up where it is nighttime. All of the girls are in their jammy jams and they are jumping around so much in the girls' dressing room that is shaking the table. It is shaking the cameraman. You know what I'm saying? It is, the guys feel it. They feel it in the bedroom that the girls are jumping up and down because they is right above them, right? So they are so excited that they are Final Four. They are all doing the dance. Everybody's all happy. Everybody's smiling. Everybody is in a good mood, right? And so then what has happened as well is production shows us the photo booth, and it looks like all of the Final Four couples are doing a photo shoot in the photo booth, you know what I'm saying, ahead of their final dates, right? And so then the first date we get is Melanie and Sincere. That's the first one that they show us in the first look, right? I don't know if that's going to be the case when the actual episode airs, but we do know that Melanie and Sincere have a date. They come on a little charter boat, if you will, that says Melanie and Sincere. It looks like kind of one of the huts, one of the villas that Paradise Cove was at, but I can't prove it. It shows them somewhere sitting, sipping on champagne and all this and all of that. And I believe there's another component to their date where they might be on the yacht, right? So I don't know if this is where Sincere is going to ask Melanie to close off, because remember, he was pondering doing this with Melanie a while back, but then they ran into more problems and more issues and everything else and more chaos, and then family day happened. So I don't know if he's going to try to do that for this episode. And keep in mind, these dates are filmed on Friday, right? So ultimately, this was before we even had an opportunity to vote, right? So this is before y'all even know who the final, order of what couple's gonna win. Next, they show us in the first look, you guys, Kata and Zack Attack's date. And I just have so many questions. I have so many concerns. I have so many WTF. I believe Charlie was even in the comments and was like, why does it look like my brother is on a date by the swamp? And that's exactly what it was. It was a swamp date. You know what I'm saying? And as much as y'all went in on Anaya's hair, you know what I'm saying? Kata, you can literally see where the tracks are starting and where her real curly hair ends. But I bet y'all not going to say anything. I bet y'all not going to do any screenshots and say, oh, she needs her hair fixed. She needs her hair done. Like y'all did Anaya. I see right through y'all. But basically, this was a Dollar General date. This was a Temu special date. You know what I'm saying? There was no money put into this date at all. They ride in this tiny red little boat, you know what I'm saying? And they are sitting somewhere that looks like, you know what I'm saying? Like Charlie said, the end of the swamp. The end of the swamp, and they put together a little bit of flowers, a little bit of cheers, and they're all like, cheers to this being, you know what I'm saying, our first date, right? Since Paradise Cove. No. Unacceptable, you guys. Absolutely unacceptable, right? So next we get into Anaya and Carl's date, right? And Anaya and Carl's date looks straight from The Princess and the Frog. Now, what happened was, back in June, remember when Anaya and Carl had that first kiss in Say Less? And Anaya had on that green dress, that green number, you know what I'm saying? And people were into it, and people were like, we should get a Princess and the Frog type of theme. This was back at like the end of June. And production, somebody on the team, on the social media team, responded from Love Island USA official account and was like, well, wait a second. Princess and the Frog. We might be able to work something out. So to me, it is giving that they saved all the money for to spend on these dates, to spend on these bombshells, to bring it to the villa, to spend on these challenges that we wanted to see, that was not the nasty challenges. Y'all spent all of the money on Brinity's date and Carnia's date. That's what is given to me. So Anaya and Carl, they're walking in. It's nighttime. They have a nighttime date. It's a big tree with all these lights, all these chandeliers, and it looks right out of a fairy tale. It looks just like The Princess and the Frog. You know what I'm saying? And then there is a fairy tale book that has, engraved A and C for Anaya and Carl. And Anaya says, "Oh my gosh, I'm about to cry." I don't know if there's a letter in there. I don't know if there's something special in there. I don't know what any of it means. I have a feeling on their date, this is just my speculation, that Carl's going to want to try to lock something down with Anaya to make sure that they are serious and for real outside of the villa. I feel like Carl really wants to ensure that this is not just going to be a little fling. You know what I'm saying? To get to the end of the show, that we got to really see whether or not this is going to work or not, right? That's what it felt like to me. Anaya said, "Oh my gosh, I'm gonna cry," and then her and Carl start kissing, right? So then we get to Brinity's date, right? We get to Brinity's date, and it looks like they have, the date that is also nighttime. It has the fire special, the fire extravaganza. You know what I'm saying? They've got champagne. They've got all of the things that are happening for them. They're talking about that there's nobody else that I want to be here with. Listen, they're a day one couple. They tried to explore day two. They, you know what I'm saying? Trinity briefly explored at Casa Amor. Honestly, nobody ever really came in for Bryce, if we're going to keep it a buck. But ultimately, they became boyfriend and girlfriend on their first date, right? And so technically, this is their second date. And I believe at this point, they're going to say that they love each other. Because I feel like that's the logical next step. That y'all have been boyfriend and girlfriend. So now we got to drop the L-bomb. At least that's what I'm thinking, right? I feel like that would be the next progression. Because that's how it normally is, right? You're dating somebody, you decide, I don't want nobody else, let's be boyfriend and girlfriend, and then at some point, you drop the L word. So I feel like that's what their date's going to be. Next, we got to get into, them filming the actual finale, right? Them filming the actual final everything, right? So I noticed that, that there's a big display set up of balloons and everything else. It's like gold and silver themed. And it looks like all the couples are walking towards a potential slideshow, it looks like, as well. Now, I don't know if this is like the first night or which night this is. I guess we will find out shortly which night this is. If it's going to be a slideshow of photos of, all of the couples, or if it's just regarding a specific time or whatever the case may be, right? But ultimately, that's what we have happen. Now, before we would have like the couples walk in where like the girls are sitting, or the men are sitting first, and then the men and the girls will walk into the fire pit. But this time around, we have like the couples walking in together, which I found pretty interesting. So I don't know what that means. I don't know if there's going to be any declarations from the couples, since we technically did a letter all the way back at the beginning of the season, which I felt was way too soon to do for these couples. But I'm hoping we still get declarations. And those of you who are not familiar with declarations, is right before they announce who the winners are, the couples write letters to each other to talk about what their journey was like here in the villa and how much the person means to them, and just something little cute and mushy, right? Because the show is called Love Island. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know if declarations are going to be on the table or not. And then ultimately, we have Ariana Maddox come in, and she announces who the winner is going to be. And I think, you know what I'm saying, everybody looks fantastic, especially Trinity and Anaya. Trinity, to me, looks like she has on a winter dress. You know what I'm saying? She is blinged out. You know what I'm saying? It looks like Sincere has on the Kenny third place suit, the third place tuxedo. You know what I'm saying? That is what it is giving to me. I don't know if that's true or not. I know a lot of people are trying to give rumors on who the winners are, who the top 4 is. Listen, the episode comes out, you know what I'm saying, at allegedly 8:30 Eastern. So we, you know what I'm saying, we don't have that much more time to waste, right? So we will find out who has won the show, but I'm going to keep it a buck with you. I'm going to keep it a bean with y'all. I think Brinity has won. I think they have a strong fan base. I think they have a strong campaign. I think that they have a lot of silent voters that were going to vote for them no matter what. There was nothing that Brinity was going to be able to do that was going to sway their vote away. I also believe that Karnaya has a very strong fan base. I don't believe it was enough to overtake Brinity, but I am like very confident that they should be second place. If for some reason Melanie and Sincere are second place or have won the show, we have lost the plot. We have lost the plot. Because how dare you sit here and say that Melanie deserves better, Melanie needs to be single, Melanie needs to be on her own, but when it is time to vote, you vote for her and Sincere to win the show. Basically rewarding all of the chaos that he has caused. No. And here's the thing. I do not believe in 1 second Zach and Kata really had any votes outside of their family and friends. Like if we just want to keep it a buck. I feel Kata lost a lot of support in her refusal to acknowledge anything that pointed to Zack Attack being a problem. And ultimately, even when TT tried to tell her, even when Movie Night tried to tell her, even though they really didn't go in, to really let Kata know the extent of how Zack Attack was. But, you know, it was interesting that Amora kept saying, oh, Zack was not as bad as Casey. And nobody wanted to elaborate further. And then TT quickly moved Amora out of the way and upstairs and away from all the girls and all this and all that and said, we really got to expose Sincere. We really got to expose Sincere to Melanie. And I don't believe that they did a full expose. And I believe that they wanted to protect Zack Attack as well. So ultimately, we will see who wins, but that is my prediction. My prediction is Brinity is number 1, Karnaya is number 2, just based off of where they're standing. It's giving top 2. And then Melanie and Sincere would be 3rd place, and Kata and Zach were 4th. And I believe as well that the reason that people voted core 4 was they wanted to primarily ensure that Brinity or Karnaya was top 2, and that, you know, between those two that they won. I obviously voted. I had 3 votes to vote for Karnaya, but I am happy if Karnaya gets 2nd place because I feel like sometimes with some of these winners, it is pressure on the couple to stay together. It is pressure for X, Y, and Z. I am happy with a Karnaya runner-up because ultimately they're still going to get brand deals. They're still going to get opportunities. And I feel like their day is right out of Disney movie. I better see comments from Walt Disney like y'all better get on this. Y'all better get on this. You know what I'm saying? ASAP. So, nonetheless, that is it for this video. I don't know why this video was so long, because the first look was giving absolutely nothing. But anyways, do me the biggest favor, and that is hype the video. Hype the video, please. There's that. That is it. That is all. It's todos, it's final, it's finito. It's the end of the road. It's the end of the line for this video. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Please do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you're notified the moment I post the content on my channel. And with that being said, I'll talk to you guys again very soon.